Hey guys, Krzysztof the Polish Geek and welcome to another movie review. And this is the second review of 2024, although the movie is still from 2023. And I'm reviewing Silent Night. And yes, I was actually kind of hyped and anticipating this movie, but sadly it wasn't released in Poland in cinemas. Thankfully, it's now available on streaming, so I managed to watch it, but sadly, it was not available in Poland in cinemas, hence why the review is delayed. And when the movie came out, I also didn't hear particularly positive things about the movie either, so my hype died down, but considering that I was really interested in this movie and all, and as I said, I saw it was available on streaming, so I watched it, and I have a review for you. And first I'll say this. I overall like the movie. I think some people are being very harsh on it. I mean, it's not particularly great movie by any means, but I overall thought it was a pretty well done, good movie, and I had a pretty good time watching it. I have to say, the movie is actually very different from what the trailers showed it would be, and also very different from what some of the negative reviews said the movie would be. I mean, there is some truth, but the trailers made it look like it will be like an action-packed, full of blood, revenge story. And what the reviews said, pretty much similar thing, except that the movie is completely devoid of any heart. But I strongly disagree. Like, the action doesn't start until like much later in the movie. I would say the movie is very much an exploration of grief and loss, because the main character is this guy, Brian Godlock, who saw his son killed because he was caught in a crossfire between a gang war. And then he sinks deeper and deeper into despair. And as a result, there is no dialogue in the movie at all. Although the fact that there is no dialogue in the movie is probably something that everyone already has said at this point. And initially I was wondering how that was going to work. But I think this approach does actually work. Because it's kind of made on purpose. It's pretty obvious that it's supposed to be that Brian isn't really there. Like, he's so much succumbing to his grief over the loss of his son that he practically completely isn't there. It's almost like he lost ability to talk and can't even hear other people talking. The only way you can see people expressing what they want to communicate is either through facial expressions, or sometimes you can hear some voice in the background, or through text messages, all that. But I think it very much works in the movie's favor, for me at least. And then of course he goes on a revenge quest on those gangsters that killed his son. And you might think that the rest of the movie will turn into a revenge flick, and there is some truth to that, but I'm glad this movie does not go for like this mindless revenge flick. No, it doesn't portray vengeance as a morally right thing. In fact, instead of cheering for Brian, you more like feel sorry for him, and you see how much he's a broken man that completely like finds no closure in his life other than vengeance at this point. And also another complaint I've seen from the movie is that as a result of choosing to go for a completely silent movie, the gang members that killed Brian's son don't have any personality to them. They almost feel more like obstacles than actual characters, because they are just like those random guys that Brian kills, and other than that there is absolutely no personality to them. They are basically like animals that need to be put down. But then again, I also think that was very much intentional. The whole point is that we are supposed to see the whole thing from the point of the view of Brian. And Brian completely isn't there at this point. At this point he sees all those gang members as monsters, animals that just killed his son. He doesn't see them as human beings. So, by making them those nameless targets that he just kills, again, that was intentional, I think. Whether it works for you or not, different story. But there is no doubt that it was very much intended to be intentional. And I also think that the actor that portrayed Brian, I believe his name was like Joel Kinnaman, something like that. I think he also did a very phenomenal job as Brian. Like, you can totally see his grief and emotions on his face, and for how much suffering he's going through. Yep, I think that this actor did a simply phenomenal performance. Overall, I have to say, I really enjoyed Silent Night. I've seen all this negativity around about the movie, but I personally really enjoyed it. Don't know if because I lower down my expectations much after all the negative reviews or anything, but I personally had a really good time. I really enjoyed it. And overall, I'm really glad I watched it. Even though objectively this year, John Wick Chapter 4 or Extraction 2 were much better action movies. But again, Silent Night was still a very good time and I'm really glad I watched it. Although, I don't think I'll add it to my Christmas collection list like I added Violent Night last year. But here are my thoughts on Silent Night. And please subscribe this channel, press the like button, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you soon, bye!